So welcome back, everyone. Thanks for all your support with this series. We're talking about men who have depression, who are afraid to face it, don't know what to do about it, won't even talk about it, and to help people who have men in their lives get a little bit more insight from one man's journey. As I stated, not a professional as it relates to therapy or any of that stuff, but I did a lot of work to understand what was going on inside of me. So if you look above, the rest of the series is pasted, the links for each one of the videos that I've done. Feel free to go back and look at those. Two more videos ago, this one and one more. In the last couple of videos, I've been talking about, the root causes with depression. And I talked about unforgiveness, comparison, and mental laziness. And I think that those were definitely very at play for me. But the number one root cause, as probably some people have guessed, that I found, it's usually the root cause of most problems, was the denial. And I never remember someone saying to me, you know what, you're depressed, and I would deny it. It didn't work like that. Denial is, as most of you know, or some of you know, is much more clever. That's probably the right word. Much more clever than that. It would be more like all those things that were going on, the unforgiveness, the comparison, the mental laziness, and this subconscious place in my mind where I would just, I could kind of see it in my emotional periphery, but I just had this sort of protective approach that was definitely rooted in denial. And denial kind of looked like this. I'll just kind of, that's kind of what denial looks like. You're kind of, I got my finger over the camera, you just kind of, you don't see anything. And then it kind of comes into focus, and then, you kind of see yourself, and, it's shaking, and that kind of thing. That's what my denial looked like with a lot of things, but specifically depression. And so you can appreciate, right? If you've got, the web or protective circle of ignorance, fear, and shame, and inside that space, you've got root causes. And there were others, but I don't have time to go through every single one of them for sure. But specifically unforgiveness, comparison, flat out laziness with knowledge that I was paying for and reading. And then you've got denial going on. That's a good, what's the word? Toxic cocktail, maybe? Emotional cocktail, is that right? That you're drinking, or that I was drinking knowingly and in some cases unknowingly, right? Because of the denial, that would keep anybody depressed for years, like decades. And so denial is everywhere, right? We see this in relationships. But when you're in a relationship with yourself and you've got denial going on and there's nobody, right? In my case, specific people are no longer in your life. And you got to face it. And you've got conscious, and in most cases, unconscious denial going on. It's very difficult to move forward and ask for help. So, wrapping up this video, denial is difficult to see when you're going it alone. Right? If you're a man going through, or anybody, but this series is meant for men, right? If you're going through something and you're in denial, you probably don't see it. You don't see the denial, because like someone points out and says, hey, you're depressed. No, I'm not. Like, that's not how it works. In some cases it does. For me, it didn't go down like that. When people would say, I think you're depressed, I'd be like, I think you're right. Gone. Laziness, mental laziness, denial, unforgiveness, the comparison, you're depressed. And then I'd start to compare myself like, well, they're not. Like, I mean, it's just going on inside. I'm kind of bringing you to a place where if you've got all of that stuff going on, or some of that stuff going on, that's when it's time to get some help, because it doesn't get any better. And you lose time. Denial steals time in every area, in my world. But with depression, it steals time that you can't get back. In the last video, in the next video, I'll be talking about what I did, specific steps I took to get my hands around my depression, face it, and begin to benefit from it. Thanks for your time. Take care.